Yeah, so hey guys, welcome to the second episode of Midgard Trends. And today we'll be discussing the latest release of Marvel, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So, the film is doing so far good on the box office, but on the reviews, it has received mixed reactions from critics as well as the audience. And the main point of contention is like it has bad writing, and also the CGI is not up to the mark. So I think I'm joined by Vikas and Ishita. So both of them have seen the film in 3D, so uh, they can share their thoughts on the quality of the film as well as the story. And I have also seen the film, so we all have seen the film, and our thoughts may vary, but let's see how it goes. So Vikas, like you saw the film in 3D recently in English, and I read your review, so I think you're completely bashing Marvel out of the box. So I'm not. Uh, you're giving it like 3.5 out of 10, so which is like very low score for a Marvel film because I mean, generally they don't deserve like that. That's what we think. Like you also give Panther Wakanda Forever a 7 out of 10, so it's completely half of that. So, any reason behind this?
Marvel, I don't like to bash Marvel, but their quality has been going down since I don't know since that Avengers Endgame. Their shows and they all look very same. Their quality, their color palette, everything looks so same. They have this talented directors, and then they force them to color inside the box, so as to speak. So even if you take a Rand Coogler or even Peyton Reed in this Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, you can see that the the Marvel studio has completely nullified their artistic vision. They are simply just checking the boxes and following a basic template. So that's why I'm bashing, not bash. I won't say bashing. It's my job to actually point out what's wrong and what's right. So it's kind of it's kind of what I feel about the Marvel studios. It has all become so robotic and all that. Even Black Panther, I had issues with it because I think Ryan Coogler is a very good director, but then he was also forced to work inside a template. He had to set up a future installment, and he had to also, you know, do service to Chadwick Boseman. So those two things were constantly fighting with each other, and then what came out was a kind of a mess. But it was also good because you could see traces of Ryan Coogler in there, and the same happened with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, in which uh, Sam Raimi could be seen in horror sequences. But in other places, it was also generic. Even if you take the CGI, it has all become like a screensaver. Like I said in my review, that it all resembles a computer wallpaper. So that's what it has all become. Their over reliance on CGI has turned it all into an ugly mess. It actually looks very bland and very uninteresting. Even in this quantum realm, in the first 10 to 15 minutes, I think I enjoyed the whole quantum realm. It looked so nice, so exciting. It was so colorful and all that. But after a while, it all seemed so monotonous. So it was so messy, and it all looked the same after a point. So my issue with Marvel is the same, that they are just basically following a template, and then they are making this mediocre films, and then they are making money, and then they are making more mediocre films, and there's nothing exciting to hold on to. There was a time when we were very excited about superhero movies. I used to love superhero movies. I used to love those Iron Man and Captain America movies. They were not so much common, but when they came, they felt like an event. Now every movie is forced to become an event, and when we go with some certain expectations, and when we watch them, it all means it we all come out experiencing the same feeling, that okay, we have seen this all before. Only the face and the suit and those superheroes change, but the story remains the same. Nothing exciting is happening in the recent Marvel movies. So that's why I gave it a 3.5, because this Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was, I think it's the dullest film Marvel has made to date, and and I think, and it's coming from someone who thought She-Hulk was okay, mediocre at best, and everybody used to bash She-Hulk, but I thought it was mediocre. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, this third part is just horrible at every level. I just hate it. I just lost it while watching in the theater, and I also found it so boring. It has become boring. All the Marvel movies have become boring nowadays to me.
So I mean, it was a bit shorter than Panther Wakanda Forever, because that was like 3 hours long, and it felt like nothing happened. Yes, I mean, compared to that, it was actually, I think it was better in terms of length. So Ishita, do you have anything to say?
I think the trailer for Ant-Man 3 sold something very different than what we got. It sold us a kind of father-daughter drama where Scott was going to ask Kang for time because he lost a lot of time when during the blip when he was stuck. But the movie is all about Janet and a little bit about Kang. There is no Ant-Man at all. And Cassie is also very underdeveloped as a character. I mean, it was the movie was like undercooked and it was spread all over. I've never seen a Marvel movie become boring after the first 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, it was ghastly to see that Marvel has fallen to this level. Also, uh, in Ant-Man 3, you would expect that there would be some kind of conclusion towards the franchise. But this one did nothing at all. It was worse than Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and that was still enjoyable. But this one was so bad. I think this is the worst of the Phase 4 stuff. Even Phase 4, the movies and shows were really, I mean, they were watchable. They're mediocre, but watchable. This one was really, it was, mm, I mean, you would not expect something like this from Marvel. And whatever I said, I agree completely. The Marvel has lost its touch, and I have no idea if the Marvels or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be good or not.
So I think like Marvel is trying to do something big in every film. Like they're trying to make it feel like a Avengers level film, like Avengers level threat, and we'll go very big, like very big in every film actually. So I'm not sure. Like I think I liked how the Kang was introduced in the like first I think first half an hour, and how it went. But the way it ended, right? So it felt like they made a joke out of Kang, right? So like I mean, I'm going to discuss the spoilers as well. So like all the ends attacking the Kang, and I mean he's the most powerful man, right? Like in the whole universe, he can change everything. I mean, he basically owns the time. Like he can change the timeline. He can go back in past, future, anywhere. So I'm not sure why that aspect was not shown. Like, I mean, there was no time traveling or thing like that. I mean, maybe it is Quantumania. That's why uh, Kang doesn't have that power. But still, if I mean, if he has all those powers to construct buildings and everything, he got to have something, the power with the time. So, but that aspect was not shown. And in the end credits, we do show like all the Kangs coming together in Kang Council. I'm not sure where it will go, but uh, Kang is like has multiple identities and everything. So it was a confusing end actually. Like, was he dead or he actually not dead? So I mean, that was also on par. The ending was also on par, but they made a joke out of a character, and that's what I did. That's the only thing actually I didn't like. And the movie actually progressed very well according to me, and that's what Marvel has been doing in starting from phase 4, and that's how I think they want it to be. Like every film, they want to make it big, and they advertise it something totally big, like multiverse and all, and then they show like very small portion of it. I mean, I have seen like first three phases, so those films also build up, but in those films, Thanos was never shown. And when Thanos first arrived, and we all know the scene between Bruce Banner, like when he arrived on Earth, like he told like Thanos is coming, right? So that was like a big moment. It gave goosebumps in theater, right? Thanos is coming. But here we are not feeling the same with Kang, right? It's a big character, but they made a joke out of him, right? I think that's a problem Marvel has to deal with. Let's see how the upcoming films go. Coming to the spoilers and all, so you guys can also discuss like what was your favorite moment and where could have been better.
No favorite moment from this one. But I agree with you about that Kang thing, because he's known as Kang the Conqueror, and then we see all his awesome powers, like how he stops someone or how he lifts something and all that. Means he has incredible powers, but during the final battle sequence, he's just standing and watching people fight from a distance, doing nothing. And I think he could have finished the fight in seconds or minutes or something, but he's just standing there, and the battle is just unnecessarily stretched. It's all the typical Marvel CGI stuff that things are crashing into each other. It has become so dull. It's so predictable and so expected from a Marvel movie that it just starts to become tiring after a while. So yeah, I was thinking why is not. And when Kang even starts fighting, he's just defeated. It seems like he's defeated so easily. He never feels like a very menacing villain. And then you get this post-credit scene which promises, yes, Kang will return, and we see so many of his versions, some of them laughing like a maniac. But I have a suspicion that that Marvel will screw this up, and it will defeat Kang in the most banal way possible, because I have just lost my faith in these Marvel movies. I have stopped expecting anything from them, especially after this movie. And let's see where it will go. And for the end credit scene, I liked seeing Loki and that Owen Wilson's character during the end credit scene. I think that was kind of nice. That was kind of it brought a smile to my face because I like those characters. And I remember that line where that Owen Wilson's character says to Loki, "You were hyping this man up like he's some powerful villain, but he looks so weak." He says something like that, and then Loki assures him, "No, he's very weak." So I interpreted it in that way that those of us like me who have not read the comics and are going with the Marvel films, they are like that Owen Wilson character who are now thinking that this Kang is just a bland villain. And those who have read the comics, they are that like that Loki character who are like, no, wait, Kang will become more powerful in the future. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. I'm not actually, by the way, very excited for these Marvel movies anymore, because they just hire very talented actors and then they push them within a particular template, and it's just I hate watching them. It has become so predictable and so formulaic. I don't. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so the main thing is at the end, the way it ended for Kang, and I am comparing it to the Loki first season. There his name was He Who Remains, right? So the way he ended it, and the way the Kang here is ended, right? So I mean, in Loki there was a hidden meaning, right? The way he died, there he was also defeated easily, but there was a big meaning behind his defeat. That is missing from here. Like I didn't know like what he wanted to do, where he wanted to, I mean, how he wanted to leave. Like so, his intent was not clear actually. So that made it like ending bit nonsense kind of thing. Ishita, you have any?
The whole movie was nonsense.
Actually, apart from Kang, Modak was also wasted as a villain. I mean, that I mean, they had to redeem him, and I don't know why they even attempted to redeem a character like him. They should have just carried him over to another film, like brought him back and then carried him over. But then again, he looks so goofy. I think that is why they were like one and done with him. But I mean, it's like they had a lot of good ideas in the film, but none of them were developed fully. That is the tragedy. I'm still excited for the Marvels. I think the posters look good. And then again, let's see what happens.
I mean, Modok has always been a dark character who had some hidden intentions, right? I have seen the animated shows and read some comics, so I know like he always had some hidden intention. But here they like completely twisted it. Like they don't want to use him for future, so just let's make a joke out of this guy. Like he want to redeem himself. He's not a dick in Marvel words. And that was his word, right? So he doesn't want to be a dick. So anyway, that's ended badly for MODOK. So there is no hope for MODOK in Marvel Cinematic Universe anymore. Let's end it there for MODOK. So again, coming to the ending, like the main focus is Kang. We cannot ignore it. Like it is like Quantumania, the origin of Kang. The more correct name of the film should be, not like Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I mean, Ant-Man was felt like he was a side character. So it was mainly about Janet and Kang, and Kang mostly overshadowed everything. But I'm not sure what happened in the end because I just came out of it. So if you guys have any idea, you can explain like what happened at the end after Kang died. Yeah.
I think that the quantum realm that Kang is dead. I think they discuss it in that credits. Okay, he has died, but there are many more versions that will come
No,
later.
there is another thing like wanted to know like how Scott and Hope came out of quantum realm.
Oh, that through that device, that which Cassie used to suck them into the quantum realm. That same device was used to bring them back.
Yeah, she just pressed a few buttons and then they came back. It was hilarious. I mean, there was no tension at all. And I think Kang is stuck in his multiversal engine, so I don't think he's dead. In fact, I think this is Kang the Conqueror, and all of them are his variants, the ones we saw in the council. So I think that since like how Scott experienced the multiple copies of him during when he was in the multiversal engine, Kang is going to have the same experience. But since the Kangs don't have a common goal, like Scott's common goal back to Kang, so they won't be able to work together. But I think he's going to destroy other versions of himself, and somehow when he comes out at the end, he'll be Kang the Conqueror, because not only has he conquered timelines, he has conquered other versions of himself. And I think he'll kill the council who exiled him, and that's how we'll get Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars. That is my theory for now.
I think the Kang dynasty will mainly focus on this Council of Kangs and their
Hmm.
origin, and then I moved on to it. I'm not sure how many superheroes are going to be, but I think that will be the main storyline if they don't screw it up. That's the thing. That's the storyline I think it should follow. Like focus on Kang and how he developed all these many identities and all. So it's basically whole multiverse, right? So there can be multiple Kangs. So I don't think it's just about the multiverse machine, whatever it is. So I think all the multiverse Kangs gather to make a council of Kangs, and that's what He Who Remains in a Loki finale teased about. Like there are many versions of him, and some are good, some are bad. It's just like who you are facing with. So Kang the Kang Conqueror is one, and we don't know. They didn't reveal his name. Like if he was Nathaniel Richards, I don't think that name was ever mentioned in the whole film. Let me know if I'm missing something. Was the name mentioned anywhere?
No, I don't think the name was mentioned. But someone said that it was interesting that the way the Kangs are teleporting is the same as how Mr. Fantastic did in Doctor Strange 2. So many think that there is a connection, not explicitly said, but there is a thread of connection.
Marvel is yet to make the Fantastic Four movie, so I think there will be a big relation. Like, I think Nathaniel Richards is the son of Reed Richards in the comics, I guess.
Not son, I think he's an successor, but not
Yeah,
direct son. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, in one of the multiverses, he is actually the son of Reed Richards, but he is called a successor of Reed Richards, and it's interconnected actually, past, future, and everything with Reed Richards. That's how they have to deal with it. So I'm not. I think I mean, every Marvel fan, their excitement is down currently after back-to-back like films with nothing yielding much. Like Wakanda Forever was like nothing in the end. Same goes with the Thor: Love and Thunder. Like in the end, it was nothing. Like we don't know what going to happen in future. So that's what Marvel is currently facing, and the
And
writing is
it all looks so messy too. There are so many characters. There's Moon Knight, and then there is Eternals, and so many Hercules and all that characters. I don't know how they will just assemble all of them together and then they will fight. I don't know, it's going to be a giant mess, I think. I'm not sure if they are following any plan or something. It just looks so muddled from me.
they just released everything they had. I think all the superheroes have got their own films and everything. I mean, everything has been introduced, I guess. I don't think there is any superhero which hasn't been like Nova. I know Nova and Fantastic Four characters, but their projects are also in the works. So it's not a long one. They will also appear on a screen. But there are so many things currently in Marvel. Like we have Harry Styles character, Star Fox. I'm not sure where they are going with him. There is Adam Warlock coming. I'm not sure he will survive Guardians of Galaxy 3 because generally they are also killing characters as well. Like they could kill Modok in this film. So they will be killing some characters as well. And Wakanda Forever, they introduced Namor. I think that was the laziest introduction. I still call it as the laziest introduction in Marvel history because I mean I am not sure what his name was, and he told like my enemies called me Namor, and that was it. It felt funny, and here also here I think Kang's introduction was good. Especially I'm disappointed with Cassie Lang, whatever say Catherine Newton character. So see, like I mean, I'm not sure how she start using the suit without any training. I'm not sure because that was not shown in the film. So how she started like fighting back and everything. Uh, that was a bit odd. And we also don't know her superhero name here, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, and what's her name? Because in the comics, she is, I think her name is. I'm not getting right now the idea, but her name is something different.
I
So
think
she
it
gets
is Stature. I think Stature.
yeah, Thatcher. Yeah, her name is Thatcher. I'm not sure they're going on that line or they are completely changing her character. Uh, it left with a lot of big questions actually. So my expectation was they will finish the Ant-Man storyline here and they will move on with some other superheroes. But they're keeping Ant-Man in the MCU as of now. So with so many superheroes, I'm not sure how they're going to deal with that because so far we have two Avengers films, right? Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. So if you have read Secret Wars comics, so it has something a little different storyline other than multiverse. So let's see how they're going to deal with.
I think Cassie's training was kind of mentioned, like she was doing research all those years back. I think it was implied that she was also training while making those gadgets and all that.
I think it just wasn't shown very well. And they do mention it, but it's not very much elaborated as to. I, I mean the time during the blip where all of it happened, it isn't shown, and that I think falters her character development a lot. And also, like, the writing is very weak for her, definitely for everyone, but I think they should have worked a bit more if she is going to be part of the new Avengers or young Avengers. I think they really dropped the ball with every character in this film.
So the clear thing is there is not going to be any Young Avengers film. I don't think so, because by the time the Young Avengers will come, whatever the Young Avengers they have introduced, they all will be old. Probably in 5-6 years they are not going to be Young Avengers, especially Haley Stenfield and whatever character they have introduced. So I mean, even in the comics, if you know, like Young Avengers are the one who defeat Kang the Conqueror. So that was the storyline in the comics. Here they are not following at all. I mean, they are introducing Young Avengers, but that doesn't seem too exciting. And they are keeping all the old characters as well, which is the, I mean, because in the comics they had like Iron Man all the way. So that's the thing with the comics, and especially Steve Rogers as well. Later, the comics introduced new Captain America and new other characters, Miss Marvel and all. But Captain Marvel, Iron Man, Steve Rogers, they were all there when Young Avengers were introduced. But they already killed Steve Rogers there. Iron Man is already dead. So who is going to? I mean, Reed Richards is one character who can form the Young Avengers, but Nathaniel Richards was the one who led the led the Young Avengers in the comics. That's what I have read. And in the
Yes,
comics,
movies.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's what I have read. Like it was some. His name was Iron Lad, I guess. Nathaniel Richards' character, Iron Lad, I guess. I'm not able to remember somehow, but I think his name was Iron Lad, Kang's younger version. I think he found the Young Avengers, which ultimately defeated his own version, which is Kang the Conqueror. So I'm not getting any hint of that character at all so far in MCU Phase 5, Phase 4. Okay. So you wanted to say something else?
I was just saying that these movies are becoming kind of like a homework. The studios have confidence that they can make anything, and the people who are following MCU will definitely come and watch the movie. So they are kind of becoming lazy and just churning anything out in the name of
Yeah, so
homework.
people are ultimately watching it, right? So the film has already crossed, I guess, $250 million on box office worldwide in just its opening weekend. So people are anyway going to watch it. They have huge fan base, big following. It's not like DC where they're struggling. Here they have already built up for franchise. Whatever they will make, people will be divided in giving the opinions. Like if you see Rotten Tomatoes score, it's like 48 versus 84, right? So you know how is the difference.
That's the fandom now, because they love their superheroes. They can watch just almost anything if it has their favorite superheroes in it. So that's why I'm telling you, it has become kind of like a homework. If you have not watched this film, you will not understand this film. So that's why you have to endure so much mediocrity. You have to watch Miss Marvel, you have to watch Moon Knight, you have to watch just so many episodes. So you have to spend so many hours, you have to do your homework, and then you can understand this upcoming film. So so that's why it has become kind of cinematic homework. You have was this, and it's all just mediocre content. They're just introducing this hero, following the same thing, and then just like it's just becoming so bland and so uninteresting now. So that's the. But I actually prefer DC more than Marvel, and I will tell you why. Because DC at least has the decency to let the directors retain their artistic vision. You have Zack Snyder doing that Justice League. You will see his own filmmaking style. You will see you can take Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight. You will see his own style. and then you can see Shazam, you can see David F. Sandberg's own style. So you can see the director's vision in those stories. Whereas in Marvel, what happens that they are just following a simple directorial vision, as well as even color palettes are all they look very similar. So that's why I prefer DC a bit more than this Marvel franchise. At least DC allows, even the new Batman, it looks so different filmmaking wise than other films in the DC universe. And that's what's missing in Marvel. They are just basically forcing its characters to, like I said, color within a specific boundary. Make like this. It should be like this, and that's why some people are complaining that they are suffering from superhero fatigue, because it's not just because there are so many Marvel content, but just because there is so many mediocre Marvel content. They are enduring so much mediocrity from the studio that they have just become tired of it. Many people are giving up on this Marvel movies just because of this, because they have now come to expect, okay, what you can artistically, so to speak, you can expect from this film. So that's why this fatigue is slowly generating within so many people. And I think these fans too will soon realize that these Marvel movies have become uh, Marvel movies have become kind of bad, and then I think they will start to slowly lose their viewership. Though I think that I'm making a huge leap. I think that won't happen anytime soon. But yeah, I think people should realize that these movies are in the end bad, and they are just they are just very formulaic, and they are just like a fast food. You just watch it and then you instantly forget about them.
So basically, they follow a pattern, like they introduce some comedy in every film, and it follows same, like there is no variety, right? So I mean, some films has to be dark because the character is very serious. So that is not happening. They are making everyone crack a joke in every film. I think for me, in Marvel Phase 4, Spider-Man No Way Home was the best film, because it has at least the second half, which has serious scenes. The first half was a bit funny. So that's how No Way Home was. And other films, apart from that, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So you know what happened in the end, like you can do this, you can do that. So that's how it happened in the end. But it has bit of horror elements, which made the film interesting. But to the bigger aspects, it wasn't. I mean, I don't remember it. So similarly, the thing was with the Love and Thunder, Black Widow, and Eternals. And the favorite film, I guess, from Marvel Studios, I think No Way Home was from Sony. So from Marvel Studio was Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. So it was the best film in my mind. Yeah, Ishita, you have to say anything?
Yeah, no, I agree. Shang-Chi is actually a very good movie, but even that, the third act was very muddled. I mean, it felt a bit like too much was happening at the same time. But yeah, overall, Shang-Chi is good. And I agree with Vikas actually about the DC thing. I think that they are actually, if James Gunn and Peter Safran can do it well, I think there are high chances that they will take Marvel's fan base over. I watched the Flash trailer, and it was some of the best superhero stuff we have seen in years. Not just for the cameos of Ben Affleck or Keaton, but it was genuinely really good, especially with the action. And there is a scene where the two Flashes touch heels. It felt so uniquely done. I mean, that is something which is missing in Marvel. Everything from the action to the CGI just feels done and dusted. It's like they've achieved this, and now it's on a downward spiral. I think putting so many shows on Disney Plus is actually going to be MCU's downfall. There's just no need. They should have stuck to the theaters and at most one or two shows. Doing too much, and they're tanking their own fan base. So let's see, but still, what happens?
I mean, I think there should be shows, but they should not all be directly affecting the main whatever happening in the films. But the thing is, they are linking all the shows and movies together. I think that's what DC is also trying to do. I mean, James Gunn, like he has announced shows and films, and they're all linking to each other. I think that's what messing up the Marvel actually, and that's what DC is trying to do. I mean, you have to keep separate films and shows because not everyone has like Disney Plus subscription and they all go to theaters, right? So that's the thing. Because if you are not keeping it separate, then some people will miss it, like what happened. And not everyone is going to watch like a 6 episode, 5 to 6 shows. Like if you going to go into a Marvel Cinematic Universe, so you have to watch all the shows and films now, right? If you start from the beginning. But that was not the case with the first three phases, right? There was only films. So there are 12 to 15 films. You can watch it. You can finish the whole Infinity Saga. But for Multiverse Saga, even if there is nothing, you still have to watch it because what was the multiversal thing in the Miss Marvel? That was the final 10 to 15 moments of Miss Marvel, I guess, where she traveled back in time or something happened. So that was the only thing in Miss Marvel. She-Hulk, I'm not sure there was anything. I don't think there was anything related to multiverse, but it is still part of multiverse saga. Same goes with Moon Knight. It is also part of multiverse saga, but I don't think there was anything multiversal about it. So if they have kept all these things in a multiverse saga, they should at least have something inside it, maybe something different, but not directly related to any film. But I think it's going to be huge. Let's hope it's going to be huge.
It will be huge. It will be
Okay. So anything else you guys want to share?
very. I actually forgot about Modok. He was also there in the movie with his giant head and all that. So ridiculous. But yeah, I agree with Ishita there that the way he was disposed of with those comedy elements, kind of like redeeming him. And even that the movie was winking at us. It was telling, look, it's funny. But it was also lazy. They're basically trying to cover up their lazy writing by winking at us. See, we are funny. And this typical Marvel humor, it starts to get on your nerves after a while. And these all movies are just following a rule book. You have to place humor like this, undercut any serious situation with humor, you throw in one-liners,
I think
and
this humor thing they got from Thor Ragnarok because it had so much comedy and it is one of the best film of Marvel, I guess, Thor Ragnarok. And they started copying the same style, like the rebellion style, the shown in Thor Ragnarok. They also tried to copy in this film, Quantumania. So
yeah,
they try to
but the
build
problem is
yeah.
But the problem is not everyone is Taiga Waititi. Na? He has that sensibility. He can match that seriousness with his comedy. Even if you don't like Thor: Love and Thunder, I think you cannot deny that the balance between comedy and that seriousness, it was there. It was almost perfect because Taika Waititi has that sensibility. He can do it. That's why that film was nice. But other directors, they are forced to follow that style, which is why they are unable to crack that thing.
Okay, so let's hope Marvel does something brilliant with Guardians of Galaxy Volume 3 and the Marvels which are coming, and especially Deadpool, because Deadpool is also coming to the MCU. So let's how they handle Deadpool. I have heard like it is going to be rated R film like the previous two versions, but I'm not sure how because through multiverse they are bringing Deadpool and Wolverine into the main universe. Usually Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are going to be a regular appearance in Multiverse Saga. That's what I want because yeah.
Yeah, those names are enough to make the movie box office success, even if it might not eventually turn out good. But, but because we have Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, people will flock into the theaters, and it will of course have another higher rating on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. You
I
can't
mean,
fight.
Ryan Reynolds generally get involved in the writing, of Deadpool. So I think he will have something to say on his own. So I'm actually positive about it because Ryan Reynolds is not someone who's going to give up all his credibility to one writer. So I think I have already seen like there are 4 writers involved in the Deadpool 3 writing already, and with Ryan Reynolds, he's a producer, so he's also monitoring the film. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so yeah, Shita, you have anything to say?
I think Hugh Jackman is enough by himself to bring audiences. I mean, people will just come to see Wolverine, and also there are rumors that Magneto and Professor X are also coming back. So I think that Deadpool 3 will definitely be a hit. But I'm not sure how MCU is going to climb out of this hole they have dug into. It may almost makes you want to reminisce about Zack Snyder's Man of Steel and BVS, like just as a counterbalance to the kind of saturatedness MCU is doing right now. I don't know. Maybe I'll just watch Man of Steel today to get over how bad Ant-Man 3 is.
Yeah, I mean, they have like so many projects lined up, and each character is giving like one show, and after that disappearing. Maybe after 5 6 years again, they will make it come back. But at that time, it is the character will be already different, already aged. So I'm not sure how they're going to handle that one because especially I'm worried about Haley Stenfield, Kate Bishop, because we have not hearing anything about her. And there are other young Avengers characters who are introduced, so I'm not sure how they are going to handle it. So I hope they do it well. I think also Letitia Wright appeared as Black Panther. I think it was her like first and last film, I guess, as Black Panther, because I'm not sure how they're going to make Black Panther. I think they're going to introduce T'Challa's son as Black Panther. I think maybe 5 to 6 years down the line, but I'm not seeing anywhere near in the future how they're going to add up that to the main storyline. Okay, I think we are already over the time, so let's wrap it up and meet with another topic sometimes in next few weeks. Okay, thank you guys for joining.
Thank you. Bye.